Hello, Ian speaking.
Hello, it's Police Hague over at Doncaster. You all right?
I'm not bad, you?
I'm fine. Just a quick update from yesterday. I was actually on my way to speak to this chap, so I got there about quarter of an hour, 20 minutes after I'd finished speaking to you on phone. He's got quite a different take on it as to what you're saying. So obviously you're both in dispute with each other, basically. He's saying he's a motorbike rider. Whether that makes a difference or not, I don't know. And he's saying that, as far as he's concerned, he thinks that you're guilty of careless cycling due to the fact that you were in the middle of the road.
Out of the door zone, just like it'll be on my motorbike, because I'm a motorbike rider as well.
Yeah, I know, I know. I'm just reiterating what he said to me.
Yeah.
He says he could see you in the middle of the space that you got, in the middle of the carriageway, which he thought were careless because you were causing obstruction to other road users apparently. So he's beeped to let you know that there's approaching vehicles from behind.
Not bothered to slow.
He's committed to manoeuvre, and then there's a van that's been coming opposite way that's pulled out to go around a park car opposite side of the road. So the van's come onto cross hatchings, and he's been onto cross hatchings. He's been committed to manoeuvre, but as far as he's concerned, he's gone past you at a safe distance.
Really? Well, have you seen the video then?
Yeah, I played it to him. Yeah, played it in his house. In front, him and his wife watched it, and he were obviously commenting on it and giving me his take on it, saying that you weren't wrong.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, the ticket's got to be issued in relation to careless and inconsiderate driving.
Right.
And at this time, there's no evidence of him driving carelessly and inconsiderately.
Well, I've got a video of it. I mean, he's sounded his horn at me, and he hasn't taken account of a vulnerable road user being cycling out of the door zone.
Yeah, and I mean, that's part of, if I were to do a formal interview, that's what he would have said on interview. I've allowed him to have his say, which I've got to do, and that's what he's come up with. And between what you've said and what he's said, there's no evidence to suggest there's any careless and inconsiderate driving, so I can't issue the ticket to him.
That doesn't sound possible, but he can sound his horn at me, knowing there's a hazard, and just drive at the hazard. I mean, that's what he's saying. He's seen a hazard. He's sounded his horn, expecting me to move out of his way because he thinks I'm a hazard in his way, even though I'm out of the door zone. And that's ridiculous. I mean,
well, that's what he's saying. I can't make him say anything different. You know, that's what he's saying. That's his take on it. That's
clearly, if that's his view, well, he's driving carelessly and inconsiderately because he hasn't taken consideration for a vulnerable road user that's cycling out of the door zone. He's decided that regardless of the vulnerability of me, he's going to drive at me. That's careless and inconsiderate. He hasn't taken any consideration for a vulnerable road user. I mean, I know what he's saying. I understand that, but I mean, it's simple enough looking at the road code. You can see a picture of how you're supposed to pass a cyclist, and it's not anything like what he's done. He doesn't mention sounding your horn to get them to get out of your way. There's no consideration at all there.
Well, he's saying that he's used his horn as a warning to let you know there's approaching traffic from behind.
Yeah, but he's the traffic. He knows what to do. He can put his foot on the brake. It's not like he's warning of a hazard that he can't control. He's controlled the hazard and made it worse. And
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not arguing with you. All I can work on is the evidence that I've got. You've given me your story. He's given me his story and his rationale behind his thought process. And at the end of the day, there is no evidence on either side to be able to pursue anything that's careless and inconsiderate. So I can't issue the ticket to him because it's got to be based on careless and inconsiderate driving. And he's justified what he's done. He said that as far as I was concerned, there were cyclists who were taking up far too much room in the middle of the carriageway. I've come up behind, I've beeped me on to let that cyclist know as a warning, single beep. I've not gone right up the cyclist's backside and then beeped to frighten him to get him out of the way. I've done it in good time. I've committed myself to manoeuvre. There were enough room, and a van's come opposite side and overtook a parked car on the other side of the road, which has forced the gap to close down. He said I couldn't do anything about that because I committed to me manoeuvre.
Well, there was nothing blocking his view of that van. I mean, it's quite clearly there, passing parked vehicles, just as I was passing parked vehicles. I mean, I'm passing them on my side, so there's traffic on the side that we're travelling on, passing vehicles, and there's traffic on the other side, passing vehicles. It's quite obvious that you're going to have to wait until there's a clear spot to go through. I mean, if that's not careless and considerate, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and that's the argument that he's putting up for cyclists, saying that it's careless and inconsiderate because cyclists were in the middle of the road when they no need to be in the middle of the road.
Well, there is a need
holding
to.
traffic up.
I'm not holding in.
But there's an argument from both sides, isn't there? But I mean, end of the day, you can argue your point till you're blue in the face. He can argue his point till he's blue in the face. But it still don't give me anything to go on that's careless and inconsiderate. There is evidence of careless and inconsiderate driving or cycling from either side.
Well, there is evidence. I mean, there's the video there showing exactly what he's done.
There is. And then there's evidence careless and inconsiderate driving.
Well, it's ridiculously close. That's dangerously close to what he came to me. He should not have been anything like that close to me. You're supposed to give vulnerable road users plenty of clearance, like it shows you in the road code. You're not supposed to sound your horn at them and drive at a dangerous gap.
Right. I mean, again, I'm not. I didn't argue with him, and I'm not arguing with you. You've given me your point of view. He's given me his point of view. I've got to work on evidence. There is not evidence that I can relate to a careless and inconsiderate driving or a careless and inconsiderate cycling. Neither of you. I can say that either of you were careless and inconsiderate in your manner of riding or driving.
So this behaviour just continues on the road and nobody will ever stop this because the cyclist is allowed to be out in the road, which is advised to be out in the road. I mean, Bikeability trains cyclists to be out of the door zone, and if it's too narrow for a lane to share, pull further out to discourage incompetent drivers who are trying to pass in spots where it's not safe to do so, which is what he's done. I mean, I'm doing what I'm trained to do, to come out of the door zone and try to discourage incompetent drive from passing where it isn't safe. I'm doing the thinking for him, yet he still can't manage it.
Yeah, and again, like I say, I haven't got evidence of careless and inconsiderate driving. It's not there. It's not there as per Road Traffic Act. It's not there. I can't make careless and inconsiderate driving or cycling up. It's just not there, Ian.
I honestly can't believe that.
I've got to go with
I think if that was to happen to a cop on a push bike, I think there'd be a different story entirely.
To a what? Sorry.
To a police officer on a push bike doing that, I think there'd be something completely different happening.
Why do you think that?
Because I think it's dangerous, and I don't think a police officer would be happy at being put in danger. I think something would happen about it.
What? So you're saying that a police officer would bend the law to make it suit themselves?
No.
So that's what you're saying to me.
No, I'm not, because I don't think that's bending the law at all. That is not. Why, Matt?
Because I've explained that in these circumstances there is not careless and inconsiderate cycling. You're saying to me if that had been a cop on a push bike, it would have been completely different. So that infers to me that you're suggesting that the law would be bent to suit a police officer.
No, I don't think it would be bent to suit a police officer. I think it'd be used properly.
So you're saying I'm not using the law properly?
Yeah, I am.
Right. So what you're actually saying is that I'm not doing my duty properly. It's dereliction of duty.
Yeah.
Is that what you're accusing me of?
Yeah.
Right. I think you need to come into the police station, come and see Sergeant, because I'm not speaking to you anymore if you're going to accuse me of not doing my job properly. I cannot speak to you anymore now. If you want to make a formal complaint, you come in and you speak to the Sergeant. Is that all right?
It is, yeah.
Right, fine. You come in and speak to the Sergeant. I'm not speaking to you anymore, Ian, because I cannot. Not if you're going to accuse me of dereliction of duty. All right?
Can you give me these results in